Welcome back to Dynamon. I already talked about Hazy Lane in my and your Yokai Watches video about the scariest random events and places of Yokai Watch, but I decided to do a full video on this place since it definitely deserves it. Definitely like and subscribe to my channel. I will take over Yokai Watch YouTube this year, and it would mean a ton if you like and subscribe and leave a comment on your opinion on Hazy Lane or if you have any ideas for new videos. Firstly, I will start with some general information. Yokai Watch 2 had the Infinite Tunnel, which is based on Kiyotaki Tunnel and is a haunted place where you need to go as far as possible, where you will encounter rare yokai, find items and weird people. Similar things count for Hazy Lane, but this place has even weirder occurrences. Hazy Lane is a rice paddy field located at Greenfields, and you need to save your game before entering. It replaces the Infinite Tunnel in Yokai Watch 3 and has a similar basic idea, so you need to walk as far as you can. You will gain around 1k yards each time, and this pattern stops once you reach 20k yards. From this point onwards, it will have a big impact whether you get closer to the exit or if Hazy Lane extends. On a side note, there are changing environments which are repeating in a cycle for 0k, 2k, 5k and 8k. Next up, I will speak about the encounters on Hazy Lane, which are more terrifying than the ones you see during your tunnel walk. But at first, I will list Infinite Tunnel encounters which made their way to Hazy Lane as well. Here we have the train, which has a chance of randomly taking you forwards or backwards, which makes you gain or lose yards. I personally never take the train because I want to influence the run on myself. The Hyotoko trio also made a comeback on Hazy Lane. If you encounter them, there's a chance that you will get jump scared and turned into a Hyotoko dancer as well, which makes you slower for the next 20 yards. You can also interact with the Tangler again, who is one of your main ways to extend the length of Hazy Lane. He will ask you a multiple choice question, and based on your answer, the lane will get longer or shorter. Keep in mind that there are different questions than in Yokai Watch 2, which you can see on the wiki page. On a side note, there's a possibility to find a guy who looks exactly like the Tangler but is completely useless. You can also encounter Face-Off again, who pretends to be Nate. Once you speak with him, he will reveal that he has no face, runs away and drops an item, which is more useful than in 2. Now we have a ton of new encounters like Forgetful Man, the Seer, the Scriptwriter or the Crowman, who are a good way to extend Hazy Lane, since you can decide if you want it to be shorter or longer. But there's one guy you always need to avoid. The Eroder. No matter your answer, the exit will get closer, so you should never consider talking to him. Next up is Monster, who is similar to the Tangler and will ask you a multiple choice question which influences the length of Hazy Lane. There also exists a guy named Mr. Do Nothing, which perfectly describes his use. He has none. 2 encounters which will always be beneficial are your class and the Human Tunnel, which always extend your path. There's also an arching rabbit who wants you to tell him an experience. All the encounters I already mentioned seem to be quite normal, but now it's time to talk about really strange things that can happen on Hazy Lane. The screen can randomly flip 180 degrees, which makes your controls reversed, and while this happens, you encounter Davy Dropsy, who gets replaced by Squeak after you dropped him 2 times, and have the screen flip again. While this happens, it's also possible to see a shadow demon creature, but after you fought Skulk, it won't appear anymore. It's also possible to see Moody Mary through a window, which sadly has no impact on your run and just shows her observing the player. During the run, you will often see a telephone booth, which can have 4 outcomes. For example, Yokai Storytime, which can give you a piece for your Jordinian Bildanyan cat, or today's news, which informs you about a festival. There's even a prank call, which offers you to go back to the home screen. If you fall for it, you will be sent to the title and your run will be for nuts. You can also get the freeze event, which forces the player to freeze, otherwise it will trigger a battle. The freeze has a rare occurrence, making you fight against rare yokai after the screen zoomed out. And a second bubble appeared, claiming the player got captured. Occasionally, you will hear a heartbeat. Or other eerie sounds which indicate one of the most terrifying events Hazy Lane has to offer. But it will not always come true. The event I'm talking about is the chase, which makes you run away from Skulk or a giant lobster for around 200 yards. If you get caught, you will be sent closer to the start. Otherwise, nothing happens, you just run out of stamina. Now we look at the yokai you can befriend during your run. Unfortunately, there's nothing like a Steady King, Sweat Terrier or Horner Plenty on Hazy Lane, but there's quite a few yokai you can befriend here. I already mentioned the telephone booth, but it has a rare chance involving you in a talk with Cranepaw. If you decide to buy bread, you fight him. You can also encounter Sprank and SV Snaggerjack, which both want to fight you. Then you have to decide on which one you want to battle. When encountering your class, there's a chance that one of your classmates is a null, which you can fight and befriend. There's also the chance of finding Master Odin's stand, who's obviously a Steady King copy, and you decide whether to eat some Odin or battle him. One of the strangest encounters is an old lady who gives you some food, but each time you encounter her, the bubble of speech will extend. She admits that she wanted you to crow in order to eat you and will turn into games with Will, Arachnia, who you will fight on your 4th encounter. Sadly, you won't find any other interesting yokai before reaching 20k yards on Hazy Lane. You even need to reach 40k yards to encounter a massive variety of cranky-k yokai. Under 20k yards, you won't find anything above C rank, which shows that Infinite Tunnel is way better considering the yokai you can befriend there. The last aspect I will mention is the boss Skulk, who you will fight after reaching 7,979 yards. The run before, the Shadow Demon will tease the boss fight and Moody Mary asks you if you want to turn back. The boss fight is quite interesting, since he starts at the back and your goal is not to let him reach the front row, which will result in his ultimate after a certain amount of turns. He can also move to the left or right, and you will see his head turn around when moving. Some of his attacks are toxic tears, which will leave poison damage on the yokai board, dealing damage over time, Pleam Pleam, which deals massive damage to your front row, or Trembling Tentacles, which focuses the tiles your yokai are standing on and deals damage. At the end of every run, you will also see Moody Mary on the other side and she will give you an item. Now it's up to you. Do you prefer Hazy Lane or Infinite Tunnel? For me personally, Hazy Lane is great, but I admire the vibe of Infinite Tunnel and I had a goal for this place, which was to befriend Sweat Terrier, something I didn't feel about Hazy Lane. Hazy Lane, on the other hand, has better and more strange encounters. Definitely don't forget to like, subscribe and comment your opinion on Hazy Lane.